Paul Waggoner, P-A-U-L-W-A-G-G-O-N-E-R. I do want to salute the previous speaker because yesterday he was probably the first person in the history of this building to refer to Hegelian dialectics. So, anyway, this has been a helpful and illuminating series of meetings. It is good for all of us on either side of the issue to see the human face of those in our town who disagree, even those who have come from out of town today, which there are quite a number. But in other ways, I'm less positive, so let's cut to the chase. The Hutchinson anti-discrimination law covers 3 different areas: accommodation, housing, and employment. The KEC is demanding to change all 3. Why change accommodations? Has any evidence been presented of harmful discrimination in Hutchinson accommodations? I have not heard any. And in housing, realtor friends tell me to be a licensed broker or agent, you have to provide equal services to all customers. It's a matter of their licensing process. Realtors want the commission, landlords want the rent. I can hardly believe anyone in town does otherwise. For all the generalized amorphous complaints about Hutchinson, the KEC has only one example of a lady and her rental trailer. And even this example sounds very odd. Someone is parking a trailer and installs a septic system, and this happened in the city limits of Hutchinson. It really sounds very rural to me. Further, her closeness to the landlord's family makes me think that this was a private rental and not any sort of rental complex at all. The city's own frequently asked question on this topic says specifically, housing providers or landlords who own 3 or fewer units are exempt from the ordinance. So seriously, KEC, your main claim to change the housing ordinance for all 40,000 residents, landlords, and businesses of Hutchinson is an incident that in all likelihood would not even be covered by this proposal. Face it, folks, there has not been presented a justification to change our housing regulations. Employment-wise, there are over 30,000 jobs in Hutchinson, and people, gay, straight, or whatever, leave, quit, or are fired all the time. And the KEC, digging back over the last 10 to 15 years, has only 2 bona fide examples. And one of these wasn't even a firing, it was an inter-employee dispute. The guy and his co-worker did not get along, and the guy quit. That is not sexual orientation discrimination. So let's be inquisitive about the other complaint. All employment disputes have 2 sides to the story. I would like to hear the other side. I have had employees in my office who have told me tales that evaporated once the other person in their department was present. If Ms. Carter would have filed a complaint, it would have gone to the Kansas Human Rights Commission. They get over 1,000 discrimination complaints on race, color, and religion a year. On page 14 of their annual report, there is a chart on the resolution of complaints. And the #1 result is no probable cause determined by the KHRC. That happens 70% of the time. Investigated and no probable cause. I say we need to hear the name of this major Hutchinson employer, and if you know it, please call or pass it on to me. I would really like to hear. I think the HRC needs to hear their story as well. Mr. Powell just made a comment about the religious exemption, and I do want to clarify that. Under frequently asked question, as an employer, landlord, or business owner, am I exempted from these requirements if my religious beliefs disagree with protection in the ordinance? The answer is no. Under the current ordinance, you are prohibited from discriminatory practices, etc. Are there any exempt entities? Religious-based groups, nonprofits, etc. can be exempt as long as they do not open their services to the general public. So basically, ordinances like this effectively make a choice of either staying in some sort of Christianized ghetto or being open to the general public. That's a terrible choice to make. Or fundamentally, the irony of these types of laws has been for the desire to protect a certain person's sexual identity, we force other entities to drop their religious or moral identity. Or else, rather than the person facing discrimination by a private company, the other entity would be facing discrimination by a state agency, or in this case, a city agency. Further, this is a gateway law. Once you accept the premise of GLBT as a protected category and all private companies and organizations have to comply, what happens next? It is already happening on the East and West Coast as we speak. First, gay groups demand companies and the city to offer health insurance benefits to gay partners because married straight partners get benefits. The Reno County Clerk will be asked to keep a domestic registry for gay couples, just to be fair. And the mayor will proclaim Gay Pride Month because we proclaim other Pride Months, and the city will sponsor seminars on stopping homophobia and promoting alternative lifestyles. The schools will be pressured to get involved as well. Did you know that every single state, and the 4 that have been, where the state courts have mandated gay marriage, they cited these anti-discrimination ordinances in their reasoning? It is a fact, but I do thank everybody for listening and for your time.